Hello, curious ones, and welcome to Route 37, the podcast of many topics. My name is Sonja.
And I'm Jen. Welcome as we take you on a winding ride of not only our curiousnesses, but the curiousnesses of others. Hi, honey.
Hi, Mommy.
Good to see you again. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
What is the date we are at? Wow, trucking on by.
I know.
Noticed last episode 20 was back from March. Here we are, May 22nd.
I know. Now that I realize how far back our episodes are,
We're growing.
I know, and it's so funny because people, they ain't even gonna know what's coming.
No, I know.
Because these last couple episodes,
I know.
last week we talked about booger picking.
Yeah, right, for reals.
Man.
Moving right along. Who would have thought just 2 years ago this was just a pipe dream?
I know.
Now here we are.
Look at us.
Thank you.
Look
I
at you.
know. Thank you.
You should be really proud of yourself.
I am really proud of myself. But Mommy is experiencing some serious burnout.
I can tell. I can feel it.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty tired too. I just want to cry every day.
I think that's why I've switched my motivation, like health-wise, gym-wise, and all that lately. Not that I feel like I'm in a funk. It's just like I know.
I've been working out hardcore. It's the only place I can leave it.
Well, right, but I feel like
Transmute it.
like my way thinking about it is I know I can do better. I know I can be better.
I think we all can, but I think we all have to be a little bit lighter on ourselves as well.
And I've noticed that as I've been getting up at 5 in the fucking morning this week, Ben and I both, to go to the gym and all that.
I've been getting up to listen to the birds sing because I hear it lowers your cortisol. So I've been listening to those motherfuckers for an hour before I even look at my phone.
That's good.
Before I write.
That's
yeah.
good.
One would think that Mom is on her phone all the time by the way that I just drop and plop on Facebook, but I don't. I'm not one that sits and scrolls the platform a lot, especially during the day. I'm just kind of
People may think that because you post
I
a
know,
lot.
because I dump and run. And
Yeah.
It's not, and I'm not really looking at other people's pages either.
And I feel bad because sometimes when I'm on my way to work, I'm like, oh, I have an idea. Oh, I gotta call Mom. Oh. And you don't answer. I'm like, oh, shit, she's probably sleeping.
Oh, yeah. I'm not, probably, well, I'm up
Do you-
till like 11.
Do you listen to my voicemails?
You leave me voicemails? Who are you calling me? You know I got T for terrible mobile. I don't get shit.
Well, no, this was like, I think the last time
I save all of your voicemails.
take a listen to my voicemail because I always start it with "Good morning, sunshine."
Oh yeah, I'm sure I have that one because
all of them start like that.
Who did I think I played that one for Christy? Because you called while we were downtown watering or something. Yeah, Mommy saves those.
Okay,
Yeah.
I save yours too.
Yeah,
I save all of them.
yeah. And room's limited on this fucking box. I don't got much room left on this one. And how in the fuck can my iPhone? Nothing. No, nothing. And it's always telling me my memory's dangerously low. What in the fuck?
That's why we go to the cloud.
That's so dumb.
I pay for the
Whatever. Anywho.
Anywho, Androids suck, and
Well, they
we need to
both
figure out
they
how to
both
use
suck.
it.
I am looking forward to a digital detox. Stay tuned for that, y'all, because there will be a digital detox. So I think I'm going to kill myself off on Facebook.
Like
Personal
page,
Yeah.
or
like deactivate my personal page,
but keep your
the podcast page and the business page.
business.
Yeah. And because I'm so reported, and so the energy and the blockages on that personal page are ridiculous and are really fucking with Mom's head right now, and I've got to let it go. I think my madness there is coming to an end. And well, your sister taught me how to do TikTok kinda, so I'm gonna venture, and I think I'm gonna put some of my realist raw stuff now on TikTok and ride that wave. But I am getting energetically and psychically attacked and physically reported on my regular Facebook page, and it's time for me to go.
So have you thought about making a new Facebook, like a personal page?
I have several pages.
I meant a new personal
Mhm.
page.
Yeah.
Limiting who comes in.
Yeah.
Seeing your stuff.
Yeah. But it can't be under mom's name. Can't be anywhere near. These people are too good finding me. I mean, they're going to find.
I feel like you have to do that. That's what I do.
I didn't, yeah, I feel like it might be my next level, though. I think my madness is done there. You know, when I think I'll explain, because people have no clue where my madness comes from and the deal that I made with Zuck the fuck the minute he allowed my brother's murder to be posted on that platform. The downloads that happened psychically for me that day, nobody will ever, and nor will I be able to articulate. And I already look fucking crazy, so I'm not worried about that. Because I am fucking crazy, I guess, in the realm of what some people think is normal. I guess I would constitute being a little cray. Welcome back, everyone, to our technical difficulties.
Our microphones died.
But we are keeping it real simple. That's the way. Keep it simple, stupid.
Man, so we didn't even...
Excuse me. Well, here, that's just par for the course, y'all.
Maybe that was too powerful for people to
Maybe,
hear.
Maybe they weren't supposed to hear it.
Maybe our wavelengths were too aligned where that needed to be.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, wow, that was some epic shit right there. That was some real raw...
I know.
Truths.
Man.
Fuck.
Fucking stupid.
But wow, we've come a long way.
I know.
And from being on episode 20, man. We're 20 episodes deep. And if you listen... I think even this last episode where it's just me talking, which, mind y'all, it ain't easy just having a conversation for 37 minutes with yourself. But even listening... The cringe is lessening. Don't really give a fuck what y'all think at this point. I mean, I do, but I don't, because this is my creative baby. But listening to myself, even the cringe is less. Mm-hmm. You and I are serving volley. I just listening, and I haven't listened to all of them.
It's easier to have the serve and volley between.
Oh, and it's much easier than sitting and trying to have a conversation with yourself and keep it going on in any sort of direction. Because, you know, Mom, I don't have one. I'm just this container of chaos.
I know. I was thinking maybe, so because you've been doing stuff like talking with yourself and some of these
I think it has to go
podcasts.
I think it has to go in different directions. Like, because obviously I'm still reading my journals.
Yep.
So reading my journals out loud, which I think is part of what this episode 20 is. I think I am reading my journals in this one. And then like podcast guests. Eventually we'll have like special themed ones, but right now I think our biggest listened to episodes is you and I.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
what we were talking about though is
so many things.
I don't even know if it recorded the part of me asking you of your writing.
No, I think all that Mrs. Allen, all of that was really good though, wasn't it?
It was. Well, what I was continuing to say, so we were talking about writing, journaling.
Since Mom, I've been doing it since the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
She had asked me what provoked me to start writing, and it was my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Allen, because I was being bullied quite consistently, which followed me my entire school. I mean, right up until the 12th grade.
Years.
Yeah. Well, when you're obese and you're the fat kid. And it was a place where I could lay my darkest thoughts of wanting to get back, or I just really wanted something really bad to come to some of the girls who, I mean, were mean to me right up until senior year.
Oh, shit.
You know, just... And oddly enough, some of those bitches will walk into my store and act like I don't know who the fuck they are, which is funny as fuck.
I hate that. I'm starting to notice that too, where like people
Funny
who
as
you
fuck.
went to school with, you knew everything about them, you knew their deepest shit, and they just look at you and look the other way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, don't
And
get
now
me...
that you got a podcast.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I mean...
Creatively, karma has brought me all the way
Right.
back to this point. Yeah, for
like
sure.
this happened last week, and I mean, I won't be the person to go up to you and be like, hey, because I was, I got, like Jacob has said before, I got along with everyone. I got along with, like, all the groups of people.
Yeah, me too, even the ones that were mean to me, because they would be nice to me in secret. But if they were around their friends...
In public, yeah, they had a rep. Yeah.
I would have been a proponent for probably one of those kids that killed themselves. I thought about it quite often, just to get away from, like, why don't people like me? Why? And then when you're pretty and fat, double fucking whammy.
Yeah, they hate you even more.
Yeah. Because the boys in school would tease me and go boom, boom, boom as I was walking down the hall. The same boys would be hitting on me in secret and telling me I was pretty when nobody was around.
I've gone through stuff like that in high school. When I had
This was from the kindergarten all the way to senior year. Which, yikes. When I said, I'm getting a lump in my throat now because I was really well liked in peer groups, all the peer groups, whether it was the band kids or the not so cool kids or...
I'm saying I resonate with that, especially when it came to my crooked teeth that I had.
Well, at least you were pretty with crooked teeth.
You were still pretty when you were fat.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said at least I wasn't butt ugly and fat. That would have been a double whammy.
I know. I'm saying...
But it's almost like they hate you more because you are pretty on the outside, but you don't look... like, I guess, aesthetically...
Picture perfect.
Right,
yeah.
Aesthetically pleasing to their ideals, I guess,
You also were in the generation where it's not that bullying was promoted, it was shown a lot in those generational movies.
Yeah, well, not only that, it wasn't like a grown-up didn't say, hey, don't do that. It was like, oh, it'll build character. It'll toughen you up.
I know, it's your...
Yeah, well, why do you think I'm such a fucking tough-ass bitch?
Your generation's parents and whatnot really put a number on all of you.
And it's really not their fault because their parents did a number on them. And it's just this vicious circle.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm glad that... Look at what I've raised. Look at... Your brother is a phenomenal young man.
Old man, sorry.
Yeah, 32. Wow. You and your sister, I couldn't be more proud of. I would have gave my right eye at the ages of 25 and 21. Even though I had a voice, I never used it. I never, you don't fucking talk to me that way. Oh, I got two girls that would not put up with that and would definitely speak on for themselves and for others. I'm really proud of that fact that you're a wee bit confrontational, and I like that fact.
It's a shame that, you and Dad had to go through abusive shit to raise children to be opposite of that or to
I think it just all falls in divine line of what it has.
And that is why I tell Isabel or I'll tell Ben because he's got some.
We all have issues.
Yeah,
every single one of us has issues.
I like to express and remind us how we are breaking that generational shit.
I think anybody, even your Jacob's generation on through, you all are. It's a hefty burden. Not we had the same burden of transmuting our own parents and their parents and their parents' stuff. I think it's just the way that it's supposed to go. I'm a little sad y'all aren't doing it like the vibe we had in the 90s, where you got a lot more on your plate,
I mean, I think that's just how the world is running now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But I can only speak on my era and, going through my era. Like those girls that come in here and we'd give anything to go back to the olden days. And me, automatically, I'm picturing Little House on the fucking Prairie. And, horse and buggy
and
type era. And so I asked them, I'm like, so...
What's your version?
What is the olden days for you kids.
We didn't say 80s.
1990.
What?
1990.
No.
And I'm like, God bless America. I was 21 in the 90s. Fucking A, right.
I'm thinking like 70s, 80s.
80s, I think. Because I was born in 1970. The 80s, other than being habitually bullied, I'm glad that I got to grow up in that era of... And we're the only... I think I read that we're the only generation that got to see, like, technology, but and not...
Advance,
right.
Yeah.
But then not to the point, like, Jacob's generation, where they got the tail end of everything that we had, and then got this technology and all the fun things that are what we have now, which is kind of blows my mind to think about. But, like, Atari and that stupid-ass shit, when... You know, that when that shit was coming out, I remember like the cell phone thing. And I was just telling, I had a plant party here, and I was telling them, because my name's Jennifer Lopez, but I remember when they delivered our first gateway computer that we got through Amway.
Heavy as fuck.
Big! Well, I mean, just this big system. And your dad gets it all set up, and I sit in our little playroom and the little computer desk.
Because you had the playroom right there. Okay.
Yeah, at the house on Valley. And it boots up, and you just put your real name in there. I didn't fucking know. So I'm on AOL, and all of a sudden this, like, little window pops up, like a chat room window, and somebody's, like, talking right then, and all it says is, "Do you got a big ass?" And I was like, what in the fuck is that?
I knew people were ready.
Yeah, it was like instant, like, I forget what they called it. On AOL, Instagram. I don't know what it was. Like, they could see you were on. So they seen that Jennifer Lopez was on, and I started to get all these open chat windows.
Oh, I bet the fuck you did.
And I'm calling for your dad, like, oh my God, what is this shit? It was so crazy. But to be able to do that, and then to get a cell phone, and then 9/11 happened, and then it just all this, and it's like, feels like it's been nonstop ever since technology wise. And let's be real, we haven't even scratched the surface of what
that's scary
technology, because we're moving backwards. It was here before we were. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Technology is kind of making me nervous now.
Yeah, AI, fuck off. Really? And I don't want to say too many things bad about AI, but the one thing, as an artist,
it's too
I can only
easy
say
now.
Well, let me just say, because today is a huge pinnacle day in my career about full circle and being able to do the president of our local art school, Kendall College, which I went for 1 minute. I didn't even make it the full semester. My mom matched my money where I could take a class downtown at this art school. And my art teachers, Jim Finney and Gary Vandenbrand, thank you for being my mentor so many years ago and telling me not to give up. I mean, I was 300 pounds. No confidence whatsoever. Walking into this art class, and it was nothing but light tables.
Shit.
And you had to go pick out a piece of clip art, and you traced it on a light table. And I was like, immediately turned off and like, I don't want to be here. So when I think getting pregnant probably saved me from a career at that time I had no business probably going into, which was advertising. I don't know, but either way, the university.
So you went into advertising.
Yeah, that was going to be my major. Was going to be advertising art, which would be designing logos for branding products. And this was just the beginning of graphic arts. This was just the beginning of art on computers and all the fun things. But to come full circle and to be the one. I'm still an artist, so I still arrived, and today is a very pinnacle day in my career.
It's just your own way.
Yeah, and the president of Kendall College, Tara McCracken, who I hold in the highest regard, reminded me, even though in the circles there are times, like even her husband was here, which I was doing a piece that for a brick that was thrown through her window during the COVID riots.
Mhm.
It was the beginning of her tenure as president at Kendall.
Oh, during COVID, shit.
Yeah, that's when she started. And he was like, well, when the real artist is done with it, I'll bring it back to me. And I mean, and I'm glad there was a witness in the store that heard him say that. I'm like, you mean to tell me the real artist? What am I, John? A fake one?
Right.
So even in those high circles, I will never, ever be seen as an artist because I don't have a degree. But I can tell you I am been an artist the minute I got here. I am the creator. I am a creative, and thank God for that, because that has saved me more times than I care to share. So I'm not in any way a low man on the totem pole as far as the realm of artists goes.
Right.
I'm extremely talented, but will I ever probably be seen for my talent at that level? Probably not. And that's okay.
I mean, they see you for your other talent, though. The shop. This is your talent.
No, they've been in here. He told me
That's
in
what
my
I'm
very
saying.
shop. The real artist has it right now. And I'm like, well, what am I, John? The fake one?
Mm.
Yeah. So even at this age, it is just... And I don't need the accolades because I am my own audience. I always have been. So I can... But validation is nice. I would be lying if I didn't say a little acknowledgement would go a long way. My confidence don't need it. I've always been a confident creator.
Mm.
Hence this podcast.
Right.
I don't know how much more confident you could get and put yourself out there. And be sure I am the crazy plant lady, and I am a wee bit cray-cray in a good way. Most creatives are. For sure. So that's my take on my career highlight today.
Well, it's funny how... Well, it's not funny. It's comforting knowing that you had a teacher by your side when you felt like you didn't have one, and how it's led to what you're doing now. And
if
all
she could
that.
see me now.
Right.
Yeah. I love the fact that people that I went to school with watch me in secret. I, in fact, did stay cool for all you that signed my yearbooks. I sure did. And wow, I'm just happy as shit. I got something to talk about. I got stories. I'm an interesting as fuck soul, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I got shit to say.
So do
And then I gave birth to like 3 of the most amazing creatures that I have the honor of being their mother, that inherited the same creative drive in all 3 in different ways.
I know, you know what's funny? So backtrack to the pictures and all that. I don't even know if that was what was not recorded.
It probably didn't get recorded. We had a little mishap.
So I have our family pictures. Dad gave me some. You gave me some. Well, you gave me all. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
right. You know, I don't think I got many more left.
Well, some of them had like a mix of stuff from school. So like
Yeah, the shit we saved.
Yeah. So one of them came from my elementary school. I don't remember which teacher it was, but on track to your journaling and whatnot, I did have a report card for one of my years in elementary school talk about how I had quite the ambition for writing and the beautiful writing that I had at such a young age.
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
And I was talking with my coworker about it because, you know, she's smart and she's got a college degree, and, you know, she's...
Look, can I stop you right there? Just because you have a college degree does not mean you're any smarter than the average
I'm saying
Joe.
in this generation, they talk highly of
They do.
the importance of a college degree and how
They
much
do.
more important you are by having one.
Well, all right. I just explained to you that it has followed me my whole life, too, and I'm not considered a real artist because I don't have a degree in that.
I'm
so I get
saying
it.
my perspective of it is not only not having a college degree, but also being one hell of a statistic that, you know, people doubt you on a lot. that I have proven otherwise. But
I wonder where you get that from.
Oh, oh, crazy. But like, you know, people come and go for my job, obviously, and I was talking with my coworker.
No, it's got a big turnover. They don't love their job.
No,
Oh, come on.
But she's like asking me like what I wanted to do if I were, you know, to ever go back to college, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I hear your sister's got it all planned out for you.
Right? Yeah. Well, that. Yup. She sure do.
I still see you as a journalist. I
And-
still see you as an investigative journalist. Your grandma Mongar wanted to be a journalist. Your writing, I feel like it's just been passed down. My writing, it's been passed down from generation.
And I could do whatever with Isabel. She gonna be making money
Absolutely.
for not only herself but
This
helping me.
podcast could catapult you into many different opportunities.
I do envision myself having my own type of book one day.
Absolutely. I
my
envision you
life.
having your own spin-off podcast when Mom's off doing her ayahuasca in Peru, you know, when I'm shooting content. I totally see Mom handing the baton to you. I just totally see you taking it to places that I probably
That has
would be
always
too busy to take it.
been something I've always came back to thinking about, like the career I want, and whether it be a teacher for writing or writing in general. But when I was talking to my coworker about it, she was asking me, and I told her that, you know, I do like writing.
You're good at it.
My high school English teacher took a liking to my writing. That was my time when I talked nothing but about my emotions as a young mom and still finishing school and doing it for Landon. She's like, do you think about being a teacher? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a limitation to what I could write about, although I wouldn't mind teaching about it, but like you being freely doing your own way of writing, that's a different story. Well, that next night I was going through those pictures and I saw that report card and I sent it to my coworker and I go, I should probably take this as a sign of some sorts. I don't know which direction.
You should.
But
the universe doesn't make mistakes, and I just, as your mother, have a very strong inclination that you are definitely headed to that modality of creativity for sure. And that's one thing I think it's really important, because we spoke of AI earlier, and AI really affects any sort of pure writing,
natural,
real and raw artistic form of writing. And wow, I feel like you could really anchor that creativeness and keep it old school,
and that's why I'm really
so
hopeful of our podcast.
Yeah, so it doesn't, like, you know, your generation can see. I watch fucking my age adults, like men, what is this CP chat or fucking
Chat GBT?
Whatever, chat my ass. Like, you look like a cartoon character. You look like a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, I haven't gotten
and
into
as
that.
if you're gonna have that skinny blonde bitch next to you.
Right.
You're a middle-aged man. Come on now. Cartoon.
So
You
that
must be wearing the vision goggles. What is that, Facebook, where you're in a virtual reality land? Oh my God, whatever.
So that is also why I sprung the idea of the podcast to you when we were brainstorming about
3
your
years
shop.
ago.
I know. And that was because I knew that
Before
this would
I even
be...
had a shop,
I
even.
know.
That's crazy.
And I knew, and I took this opportunity as well to have this be a...
If we were on video right now, we have got to bump up to make sure that we're on video at some point.
the memes people would make of us.
Holy
just
fuck. Seriously, that'll be our goal.
Yeah.
To get, because this is the first fucking thing I'm going to do. Yeah.
But,
Stay tuned, everyone.
yeah, literally. That was my route I wanted to take with you on the podcast, because I do see a lot of people nowadays start off with podcasts before they before they get the interest of people saying, hey, you need to write. You need to make a book of this. You need to tell. Like, this is where we're going to have.
I think this would build definitely an outlet to build your confidence. I feel like this outlet, because I obviously divinely sent to me for it to be like a live and living memoir, you know.
But with all the routes of conversation that we will have, we are going to have people, I'm sure, that are going to be like, hey, I want to hear more about this. Maybe you should tell the whole story on paper.
I should stop real quick and say to two people, we were sitting around a campfire. Do you remember how you told me how stupid the Route 37 name was for my podcast? Do you remember saying to me, well, that's stupid. Nobody's going to listen to anything called Route 37 podcast. I beg to differ. And the reason that it's called Route 37 podcast is exactly for what Sonja just said. So it can branch off into, I did not want to limit myself like I did here within my plant store and back myself into a corner. And should anything ever happen to me, it can be taken and ran with by you. Route 37 keeps it open to the possibilities of everything. And if you research the number 37, which I highly recommend that you do, it'll make more sense to you. We'll get into that in a different podcast episode, but we don't have time for that today.
I do want to backtrack real quick to the audio that we fucking didn't get. Damn it! I know. Can't have nothing nice.
Fucking Christ.
Backtrack to your journals that you burned.
Oh, yeah, big regret.
I will say, of all the children that you have, I feel like...
Well, I'm feverishly writing again, so you'll have many
I know,
volumes.
I'm talking on the ones that, heavily revolve.
And I discussed that I'm kind of glad in a way that you wouldn't read the despicable things that I possibly said about your father, because it's a place where I got to transmute a lot of darkness from the time 3rd grade on up, where it was my therapist, and I got to dump and run there. So there are big parts of me that regret burning them, and then there are parts of me that I'm kind of glad that my kids aren't going to like.
Can I finish though?
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted.
That's okay.
Okay.
My point being is...
Do you see how that works, folks?
Knowing our particular relationship, your middle child and you.
And I am the middle child.
Middle child to middle child.
Bam.
I think compared to Jacob and Isabel, I believe the emotional intellect that I confidently know that I have and I've always had at a really young age.
You mean gift?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be the one to withstand and understand more empathetically your
Hands
older
down,
journals.
Absolutely.
I'm saying you would be safe knowing if I were the ones reading these journals, because
Well, that's not a question.
You said you wouldn't want any of your children to read them.
At that time when I was burning them, that was my catalyst. And Dum Dum. Because some of this stuff I wasn't really proud of. And as being a mother to 3 children, but 2 daughters, I didn't know if I wanted you to read those lowest points of mine, especially the ones that written about men. Your father, cray cray, dum dum, any Match.com, though, any of those that ick.
I think.
But yes, you are absolutely right. Out of all of my children, you probably would have turned that into, number one, a bestseller. And then the movie would have won all sorts of awards. Jennifer Lopez probably would have been the bitch that played the part had we lived in a different world, or in a different timeline. That could very well be happening. But I can't go back and change it. And they're gone.
I'm saying this will have to be another episode or another conversation. I just know that I would have loved to understand that perspective.
Then if you have questions, we'll talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
If you have questions about anything, because Mom's an open book. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there is no...
An open... Open.
Open vessel. So all three of you kids have free reign. I would much rather you do it in this live and living color artistic form that I have going on right now. A live, living, digital version of those volumes, I guess. If you have questions, I have no problem answering or talking about it. But
I'm speaking more of our hard-headed, relatable relationship that we share. I think that, and yes, it will be helpful talking about a specific time period of your journals.
That was a lot of years I burned from 3rd grade to Dum Dum.
I bet.
So that's like 3rd grade to 2018. I forget how many volumes it was that I burned. Not my biggest, smartest move.
I just think as, a more now understanding, forgiving type of person based on, people's past and whatnot, it would have been...
Forgive them for they know not what they do.
Right. But forgiving as in not only myself, but other relationships and all that. I am a curious person to the point where I like all the perspectives. I want to see all the angles. And then I want to come...
But my journals would have only been my angle. And not always like the best angle either, because that's where I put my anger and my hurt.
So then
and all
your
my
angle... Then though, in a specific time period, you only showed what you wanted to show me. Give me. But in your journals, that's a whole different perspective of you that you don't share. So that would have been a different perspective for me to understand where you're coming from and understand more of why certain things happened or why you felt a certain way.
Yeah, but if you stop yourself right now, we are already in the thick of it. You are already asking some of those questions to Mom and getting answers, which I'm so happy for you, because I wish it would have been allowed for me to ask my mom things out loud, especially when she found out she was dying, because at that point,
trauma.
There was no more asking. I can't even imagine how hard that was for my mom to know that she was leaving, and there was no questioning her. Like, hey, so I did pick a day, and your brother was going to spend the night because it was our turn to watch Grandma while Grandpa Mongar was on the road. And Jacob was being bad. And it was the one and only time my mom ever raised her voice that I seen. And I had to call your dad to come get Jake. And I asked my mom if there was anything that she wanted to tell me, before she wasn't able to. And there was only a few things that she wanted to tell me. And one of them was she wanted to tell me the one and only time that I made her afraid as a kid growing up was Grandpa Mongar. We were at a picnic. And I was probably, 6 or 7. And I had called Grandpa Mongar out about, I'm sure it was about Jesus.
Damn.
In front of his friends.
Damn.
Yeah, right. And Grandpa Mongar looked at me, I'm sure embarrassed, because, number one, back then kids were supposed to be seen and not heard. And he said to me, has anybody ever told you talk too much? And I quit talking for almost a year.
Wow.
I didn't say a word to anybody. And I would just shake my head yes or no, or would sign language of some sort.
That's fucking sad.
My answer. It is pretty sad. So I think for the longest time, I let that shut me the fuck right up, even though I had a lot to say.
So
debating, I didn't obviously.
That was before you started journaling? Or after?
Probably before.
Right
Yeah,
before.
because I was really young.
I can see how journaling really
Yeah.
took off for you then.
Yeah. I'm sure Mrs. Allen's seen it even as a kid, because that's a whole nother podcast show. But that is the era that my father had a mistress. And that was the summer we found out that my dad had a whole nother family he was taking care of. And Aunt Michelle ripped us out of school. So I'll talk about that on my podcast. This isn't about bashing my dad.
I know,
but I got stories.
I know,
Very interesting.
I do
stories.
also want to talk about my name and how that came about, because I heard parts of the story, but...
So, there's so much here, Route 37 podcast.
But this is the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, that's the parts that I feel like, all right, those journals are gone, but I feel like I am an open book, and you kids or any guest could easily come and sit in my chair and unearth any of that. And I feel like it's, for me, creatively, especially how deep into the healing process I am in transmuting my pain and wounds, alchemizing and aligning and all the fun things, and at the place that I'm at now, that I feel like I'm in a really good place to host something like this and to be an open vessel and to be able to keep an open mind for anybody that wants to sit in my chair. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm going to play into your delusion, but I'm going to let you explain your delusion to me. If you're going to listen to me talk about my delusions, in a loving space. We don't have to agree. Don't have to, But what I do want to provide is a platform of pure, real, raw communication, for sure, with a lot of integrity, brutal honesty, and of course my magnetic charisma. And then my children all got it as well. So, all the things that happen in our lives certainly bring us to a place, and I am profoundly grateful that I get to speak upon them.
You know what's funny, but also real? This is gonna take off before we even realize it.
No, I know. I know because I'm the creator of it. So, and you're my co-creator.
I was gonna say
that brings in
the podcast.
We've been co-creating for a while. I mean, we were talking about this in Hesperia, family vacations, 2 years in a row. 2 years, the eye rolls, everybody. Yeah, sure. Just like I told you about the couple, my old neighbors. That's a dumbass name. Nobody's gonna listen to a podcast called Route 37 Podcast. Do you know how many people? If I had let every person in my life that has tried to talk fear into my plans win, where do you think I would be? And you know what a spiteful bitch I am. Okay. Hello, next level. Fuck you. Don't ever, and I mean like ever fucking tell me I can't do something. Because I'm going to fucking do it, and I'm going to take pictures, I'm going to write about it, and I'm going to announce it, I'm going to fucking post it. Oh, you're going to know I did it.
I think my takeoff for that was when I got pregnant with Landon.
Well, that was a pinnacle portion in Mom's life. That's the same, that 2016 where the downloads of just Zuck the fuck. I made a lot of agreements with him, and I plan on following through with all of them. And then, all right, I'll go dark, whatever. But I have some shit that I have to finish. And this is a compilation of many years, many years of patience as being the sleeper cell and being underestimated. And you all thought I was just fucking here doing nothing. Y'all. How many of y'all that are listening in secret? I'm telling you. Here's the thing. He who laughs last, laughs best. And the fat lady's singing. That's all I got to say. She's singing, and she's good at it. Welcome to my artistic expression, everyone.
Excuse me.
Woo! On that note, I got to get ready to go to a big party.
Yeah, you do.
So, moving right along, youngin'. Welcome to the next level. High five. Woo! Next up, let's go.
Yeah, I think I'll have to come up with plans on.
Get those little reels done for my in between. Get this sent to Spencer, and well, on to the next.
All right,
Stay
curious
tuned.
ones.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Thanks for tuning in today. As always, folks, stay curious. Bye.
That was a good one.